will we will be free. For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament comes crashing down with Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay. Wednesday, November the 11th. Armistice Day, Veterans Day.
It's Veterans Day? I thought Veterans Day was on a Monday.
No, it's on the 11th every year.
Is it?
Yes.
So it's one of the ones they didn't move to a Monday?
They did not move it to a Monday.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd they get away with not moving that one?
I don't know, but I don't complain about it because it's where it's supposed to be.
Okay, I just didn't know.
Because at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, World War I ended.
Oh. I don't know anything about military that.
Yes, that's why they call it Armistice Day, because that's when the truce ended.
The truce ended.
Well, yeah, in one way it did. That's when the truce came into effect to end World War I and started the beginnings of laying the seeds for World War II. In any case.
All right.
Are you ready for the question? It has nothing to do with World War I.
Good, because I don't know shit about World War I.
Okay. Oh, this is funny. We're just talking about this as ninja stuff.
Oh, is it? It's reconsider and enter on the minutes?
No.
Oh, I would.
The other one.
What other one?
Objection to consideration of the question.
Okay.
Okay, one of my favorites. Objection to the consideration of a question, :
I object to consideration of this question.
You're,
Okay.
you're outvoted, 1-1. You didn't have a 2/3 to pass.
I'll get Wayne down here.
A can be a... God, I just gave away the answer.
Oof.
without even realizing it.
I probably wasn't paying attention, though.
Yeah, okay, anyway. Let's try this again. Objection to the consideration of the question. A can be applied to main and subsidiary motions. B can be applied to petitions and communications from a superior body. Don't we wish?
I know it's not A, because I fucked that up last LNC meeting.
C requires a 2/3 against consideration to sustain the objection. Or D cannot be submitted by the presiding officer on his own initiative.
What? It's what? Say the whole question again, because you threw me for a loop with D.
Okay, objection to the consideration of the question.
Right.
A can be applied to main and subsidiary emotions.
But let's just... That is wrong.
Okay.
But I want to just...
B...
Wait, stop there, though.
Okay.
I want to just say how I know that's wrong.
Go ahead.
Because we were doing last electronic LNC meeting. The motion was to approve the agenda, main motion.
Uh-huh.
Susan Hogarth moved to amend the agenda, so in a secondary motion, subsidiary motion, and I objected to that, to the
Okay.
consideration of the question. You can't do that.
On the amendment.
On the amendment. You have to wait till the amendment passes and when the actual item comes up on the agenda. You can't do it at that point, but anyway, that's how I learned that. But, all right, A is wrong.
B can be applied to petitions and communications from a superior body.
That makes no sense.
It doesn't. Because if it did, we could tell the government to pound sand.
Yeah, but...
That's why I wish it was true. Anyway.
Well, we do, but they don't listen.
Yes, I know. C requires 2/3 against consideration to sustain the objection.
That's right?
D cannot be submitted by the presiding officer on his own initiative.
But see, I think that's right too, isn't it?
Well, the problem with D... Okay, first of all, the answer is C.
Yeah, but D threw me for
That's
a
why I
loop.
said I gave it away with
Yeah, I was sure until you said D, and I was like, what?
The problem with the way D is worded, it cannot be submitted by the presiding officer on his own initiative, makes it sound like that, well, what they mean there is that the presiding officer cannot object to consideration of the question when he's busy presiding and putting the question. On his own initiative is his own personal...
Right, I know, I
choice,
understood that. That's true, though, isn't it?
I think as a member he should be able to do that. He might have to hand off the gavel, but I think he can do that as a...
Or it's probably one of those, he can but he shouldn't?
Probably.
Okay, but that...
No, I knew C, the 2/3 against consideration was right. But D was really weirdly worded. So, and I can't talk.
So I'm trying to figure out which section that'd be in. Don't tell me because I'm trying to learn this.
Okay.
So, well, I'm probably not going to know that. So it's
not a question of belching.
Is not subsidiary? No. Incidental? No. What the fuck is it? Okay, tell me.
Look at the tabs. Look at your tabs.
Okay, hold on. You're making me work.
Well, that's what you wanted.
I know, but I'm lazy. Oh, so it's blue, which is incidental. It is, okay. Mm-hmm. I had it right, and I psyched myself out. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's an incidental. Right, because it's derp. Okay.
Okay. According to this, it's 268. In the 11th version, it is 268, and it is lines 14 to 15, which is item 7 in your...
What's it? Further rules and explanations?
Right above it. It's
okay, so in the standard...
In the characteristics, yes.
Which number's in the characteristics?
Number 7.
Okay, so it is 26 to 7. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, which says
a 2/3 right.
Against consideration required to sustain the objection. Yes.
But I want to know where it talks about the chair thing. It's right here.
Next page.
Oh, yeah, right here. No, it's right there under further rules and explanations. The presiding officer on his own initiative can submit his objection of this kind to a vote, just as he can raise a question of order on his own accord. Why would you raise a question of order? Oh.
If you're not sure if what you're doing is right, you can say, wait a second, parliamentarian, come here.
Oh. I just thought maybe what he meant, raise a question of order, is telling a member they were out of order, but...
No, I think in that case, it's like asking, Mr. Parliamentarian, how do we proceed on this?
Or I'm uncertain, I'm going to submit it to the assembly.
Yeah, that would work too. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. That looped me. That's a new one for me. Maybe that will be on my test today when it's timed and I will gain a few minutes.
Yeah, here's the other key point. The objection can be raised only before there has been any debate or any subsidiary motion.
Right.
Except lay on the table. So, which is why people are yelling almost off the bat, objection to consideration of the question right after a second.
And it says up here in just the very first paragraph, it's to enable the assembly to avoid a particular original main motion. That's why it can't be. Because
it says on number 2, it cannot be applied to incidental main motions.
Right, only original main motions.
Right, because I have that highlighted here
in
mine. And no subsidiary motion can be applied to it alone, but while it's pending, the main question can be laid on the table.
And the objection goes to the table with it.
With it, right.
Okay.
The objection to consideration of the question is one of those other ninja things that comes into play. Because if it's either it's so blatantly of a bad question, or it's like there's enough of a vociferous, or I don't want to say violent, but
the debate,
emphatic is the word I'm looking for.
And the debate would be injurious to the...
Yeah. Or it's a what the hell do you think you're doing type situation where you raise hell with this. The first time I ever used it, and it was in a California LP XCOM meeting, and I made the state chair go scrambling for his Roberts to figure out what in the hell is going on there.
Yeah, it happens all the time now.
But it served the purpose of bringing the entire debate on what was an absurd motion to a screeching halt while they figured out what the hell was going on.
But here's what's interesting with this. I was wrong when I made it, but I didn't find that out till after when I went and looked it up. But no, I actually threw JBH for a loop. Because, again, so Susan made her thing. I said, I object to consideration question. And then he said to me, what's your objection? I go, wait. I go, you're missing the whole point. The whole point is that we don't say anything.
Right.
You can't ask me. And then he asked Susan to speak. No, you can't do that. That's it. And I'm like...
Debating it, yeah.
I said, forget it. I just
because
forget it. I'm just done.
Because the motion itself to object to consideration is not debatable.
I don't like arguing. Yeah. I was like, forget it. I'll just argue about it when it comes up. And then when I looked it up and I wrote to him later and said, well, here's what... If I go, let me just get off, right right off the bat. What?
No, it's still there.
No.
Okay.
I go, it was out of order. I go, because it was too subsidiary. But let's pretend it was a main motion. This is why I was saying you can't ask me what my objection is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did he reply?
Yeah, he said, oh, no, thank you. In the future,
got it.
and I'll
Yeah.
know how to do that.
Yeah. Anyway, so much for objection to consideration of the question. Happy Veterans Day to those who are so inclined, and thank you for your service, if there's any from World War I still around.
Favor! Let's hear the opposition side. Like a stubborn donkey's bray. All opposed? You say nay. Opposed! Opposed! The motion carries anyway.